Hey, welcome to the Tuesday show, everybody. My name is Ultra David.
I am James Chen.
Okay, man, I gotta tell you, whenever I see that picture of me that's like the staged one, from Texas Showdown, that one, I now think of Hanzo Gonzo. Like, I look at my own face and I think of somebody else. I don't know if I like that.
Disturbing, especially because it's Hanzo Gonzo. So if you look in the mirror, do you think of Hanzo Gonzo?
I don't, but if I were to maybe if I were to put that shirt and tie back on and look at the mirror in a weird way,
right?
Maybe there's a weirdness to that.
Oh man, yeah, but I mean, I still want to use it for one of our Twitch faces.
We should.
So I mean, well, to be honest, we just need to get on that.
Yeah, we should do that.
I've just been totally lazy about it. I'm sorry.
Me too.
So I mean, that's kind of more my up my alley, I guess. The Photoshop kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of my fault. So I need to be.
We've been kind of slacking on the whole everything for a while. So
well, we're also coming down a hardcore tournament season now. So obviously, we're going to NCR this weekend. This will be your third tournament in a row. Third weekend in a row.
It will be
for tournaments. So.
I just got back from Civil War yesterday. That's why I didn't do a show last night. I got back right before the show started, and wasn't gonna get here in time from the airport. So couldn't do it. But.
So I just randomly messed around with some Marvel and stuff like that. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And with some Injustice.
Which is what we want to spend a lot of the show talking about today. Yeah. So I've had a chance to mess around in trading mode quite a bit. I actually, when I was at Civil War this weekend, I had a chance to play against people quite a bit after the tournament was done when it was 2 in the morning. Between 1 in the morning and 4 in the morning each of those nights.
You were playing?
I got some Injustice and some Cross Tekken in too, but I got a lot of Injustice.
Who did you play against?
I played against Ski Sonic, Fublat, J Rosa, Nerd Josh.
Okay,
that's it.
That's good.
Arturo was there, but he and Nerd Josh just wanted to spend time doing stuff on their own because they know what's going on. So they didn't want to play soft against him.
They're like, I don't want to play with these scrubs. It's the way it always worked in the arcades. If you had two arcade cabinets of the same game, there was always the big boy cabinet and then there was the scrub cabinet, right?
Yeah, I could definitely not be at the big boy, but there was only one setup anyway. We only had one setup in the room. So
wait, so Arturo only played when Nerd Josh was on there?
No, he didn't actually play that much at all. They had a little session where Arturo needed to look into how to beat Doomsday, and so Nerd Josh and he traded it.
Yeah.
So anyways, but anyway, I did have some time with the game. I don't really have combos down yet. And I still haven't even picked which character I want to play yet. But anyway, have you spent much time with it?
The amount of time that I've spent on it, everybody has seen.
All of your time has been streamed?
Yeah, 100% of my time, which was yesterday and a week before yesterday.
Okay.
That's the only time I've played it. And oddly enough, the only thing I know are my combos.
I guess that's the difference between us, right?
I haven't had a chance to play against a person at all. So all I've done is just figure out my combos and figure out good ways to attack and stuff. So
man, that's the difference.
Yeah, I know.
That's the difference between us.
Well, because the funny thing is, at one point in time I was streaming yesterday, I was trying the same combo, just trying to see it, get it to work for at least a good half an hour, and people are just staring at me with my stone face while I'm playing. And the first thought that came to my mind was, man, Ultra David would never do this. He would never sit here for half an hour trying one combo.
I might sit
over again.
I might sit there trying one setup or looking for a way to make one setup work, but a combo, no. I mean, in fact, I did go into training mode last week with a few of the characters that I want to play, and did figure out some combos that ended up doing good 30-40% damage.
Right.
But then I immediately forgot everything. By the time I got to this weekend, this was 3 days later. It just is not something that sticks around in my brain, you know.
Yeah.
So something that I really like about the game actually is that you can put even in versus mode you can put the little chains and combos.
In versus mode, you can do
that.
Yeah,
you can put it just below your health bar.
Nice.
So I did that while I was playing against Ski because I kept forgetting the chains. I'm horrible at learning chains. It happened to me in Cross Tekken when I was trying to learn Tekken characters. It happened to me in Tekken when I was trying to learn Tekken characters.
I don't think it's...
And MK9 as well was an
I don't
issue,
think it's you. I literally hate that mechanic so much. Like, if I was going to design this game, I guarantee you, if I made Injustice, every chain would be XX and then one of the 3 enders, YY, one of the 3 enders, and, well, I should say light, one of the 3 enders, medium, one of the 3 enders, heavy, one of the 3 enders. And those would be, like, the only options. None of this up and back and all this crazy stuff, you know. I mean, just, like, come up with a universal system and shoehorn everybody's chains into it, because it really doesn't matter. Because why does it matter if I hit light and medium that Catwoman kicks low and then mid? Like, why did I have to go light, medium, heavy for that? Why can't I just do light? It just doesn't even matter at that point, you know?
Yeah,
so,
it's actually more annoying than learning in Tekken and MK9, because in those 2 games, the button that you pressed had some correspondence with what happens on screen. Like, there's a left punch or there's a 1 or whatever, and you know what you're going to get. I mean, you don't know what it's going to look like, but if you think in your mind, oh, there was one thing where he went like this, and then there was like that, and you just...
At least it corresponds. Right foot, they do the right foot.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I guess nobody can see me do my little right foot down here.
But,
yeah. Whereas in this game, it was an issue in Cross Tekken too, because it's like this. It's not really like that. It's like a button could be anything when it comes to the chain. You don't know. There's no correspondence between what you see. Anyway, I mean, it's an annoyance. It's not going to be that big a deal in the long run. It's just something that I'm kind of like,
Eventually, it all just boils down to muscle memory. You're just going to remember to do whatever chain, and that's why it bothers me to make the chain so arbitrarily weird. Like, why do I have this chain that's basically one of my changes, back L, M, and then down N heavy, or up N heavy, you know? So it's like, it branches into 2 ways.
Does one like move her down, one moves her up?
One kicks down, one kicks up, so it kind of makes sense, but why not just have it be like back LL M for the low one, back LLH for the high one?
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, it's just, why not? Why not? So,
but I mean, again, it was a problem for me when I started learning Cross Tekken, because it's not like in Tekken where there's like the buttons. It's just mapped to like arbitrary Street Fighter inputs. Yeah, so it was a frustrating process in that too. But whatever. I mean, you figure it out. It's just going to take a little while. It's like it's like a minor complaint.
I will say one thing though: the fact that you can pin them on the screen makes it like 70 gazillion times way better than it ever was before. So when I was playing MK9, it was such a pain, but this is a lot better. So
yeah, definitely. So there's that part of it. But on top of that, in addition to that, what's your impression? What do you think?
Okay, so from what I've seen of it so far, I watched the Wednesday night fights first tournament, and I watched the Civil War tournament as well. I watched parts of the Civil War tournament. I mean, right now, obviously, the people are winning. You can't really talk about it because the people who are winning are all the people who have had the game a little bit longer than everybody else, right?
Yeah, either they're testers or they were trained by testers. But so far,
or they hacked consoles or something.
Oh well, everybody has did that. Who's placed, but yeah, everybody who's won the tournament has been a tester or trained by testers.
Right. But from what I've seen of it so far, I really like it, actually. So, the thing that I kept noticing about it, like between Aqua...
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna let it run.
Let it rock?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing about this game is when I see... Oh, okay. Well, there goes my background
music. My ringtone might be the Soviet national anthem. So.
Oh, man. Okay, so the thing about...
I can sing it if you want. I know all the words, but... All right.
It's all good. It's all good. Actually, maybe I might want you to sing it. I don't know. But, so the thing that I do like about the game, when you watch Aquaman, when you watch Superman play, when you watch Batman play... This game feels really matchup heavy. The characters feel very different. Grundy's super different, and Deathstroke keeping you away. I don't even know the names of all the characters. Doomsday, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like trying to figure out all the names right now. But no, I mean from what I've seen, it looks very character dependent. Obviously, we are huge fans of ST. That game is all matchup based. Yeah. And this feels very similar. So it feels like if I learn this character, if I fight Deathstroke, I have a completely different game that I've got to learn to fight Doomsday. which is a completely different game that I gotta learn to fight Batman, to fight it, and that to me seems really cool. That part is really interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to see how this game is going to pan out because, you know, a lot of games have crazy matchup charts and stuff like that, and I feel like this game is going to have one of the craziest matchup little chart things with like 8s and 2s and 7s and 3s all over the place. So.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. I think it's really interesting. The thing that I like most about the game is the character gameplay designs. The rest of the game is, I think it looks bad. I think it sounds bad.
Yeah.
Some of the mechanics are like, to me. Like, I don't really like the chains. I don't really like the way that cancels work. I don't know if you noticed this, but the timing for canceling is different after a chain or after a not chain.
Yeah.
Like, just things like that. The fact that you have to input buttons for a jump-in combo when you're in the air still.
Yeah. It's very MK9. I got used to a lot of that.
Yeah, that was an MK9. Yeah, for
uh-huh.
sure. I just don't like that stuff that much, but what keeps me in it and what makes me really hyped about the game is the character designs. I just think that the way that they're designed is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I love the traits and how different they are. They're like as different as they could possibly be. Like, some of them are things that power you up. Some of them are things that just make you a different character. Some of them are a grab even. Like, there's just a parry. It's so all over the place.
Right.
One of them makes it so you drop out of combos. Like,
Dude,
it is so. It's like everything that they could think of, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's the ultimate toothpaste, man. Makes you drop out of combos. You notice that it looks like that little toothpaste.
I did notice that. Yeah. Well, I mean, the way that works is that it's only on ground combos. So
So if you're being juggled, you can't do it.
Yeah, if you're in the area, you can't.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not super broken. And again, it's matchup dependent. So some characters have these like groundish combos, or put you back onto the ground during the combo. Like Sinestro will like put you in his like cage.
Okay.
You know, during the combo.
Sure.
When you're okay. Well,
I'm really unfamiliar. with
Okay.
Sinestro.
So he has that.
Yeah.
So he does a combo and he puts you into this little shackles thing, but you're grounded for it, and then you can fall out of the rest of the combo.
Gotcha,
So it's like it's that kind of thing.
Okay.
But anyway, so the traits are really interesting, and just the difference in characters is so huge. In a way that I feel like hasn't happened in a little while for like a major studio to come out with.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's games like Skullgirls where the characters play vastly different and such, but
yeah,
you know, Skullgirls is obviously outside of Peacock, you know, is generally pretty rushdown oriented, right? The characters.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. Some of the characters can play keep away in addition to Peacock, but
right.
But
I don't. But the funny thing
anyway.
is, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like someone on here just said that what I said just described Blaze Blue, right? But
yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about this game that seems really interesting. You know what it is? It's just that. Yeah, the combos can get kind of longish, but like I don't know. Like to me, for some reason, it feels like the gameplay itself is really simple, boiled down, because there's not super jumps and air dashes and all sorts of
some
crazy.
air dashes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's character specific. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh, well, maybe I should dial that back because games like Persona, which is relatively recent, has a lot of character variety too. So that's fine. And Skullgirls does too, but I specifically said major studios because I was thinking of Skullgirls and wasn't trying to talk about that. But
right.
I mean, certainly more than in Street Fighter or in Cross Tekken or in Tekken or whatever, KOF. So I really like that part of it, and that's going to make it a lot of interesting work. You know, like it's not like you said the matchups that you're going to have to learn are so different that and. I mean, the cool thing is that it's different, but not so different that it's super annoying. I don't think I need to learn a ton of different combos for different characters.
Oh, right,
as far as I know, there's nothing like that. Maybe it is. I just not as far as I've seen though. And that's good. So it's only like the gameplay that has to change.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think the game has a lot of promise. I think the game. I really want to see where it's going to go from here. I mean, I've talked to different players, who've played the game, who are afraid that the game might end up being a little too turtle-ish, a little too might actually be a lot of timeouts because
really?
of the wager system. You know, because you can gain back so much of your life from the wager system if you have way more meter than the opponent does and stuff like that. I will admit one thing about the wager system. I'm glad it's a little bit shorter than I thought it was going to be.
For sure.
Because for some reason, like, it just sounded like it was going to be really long. But right now, the worst thing about the wager system, I'll tell you right now, is as soon as the wager system starts, you already know who won. But you still have to go through.
Well, how do you know who won?
Because you just look at their meters, right? Whoever has more meters, most likely going to win.
No, man, I think it's much more interesting than that.
Yeah,
if you have say I'm in my first round still, and the opponent's in his second round, and I have all the meter, and he has say we have the same meter. I am not going to bet any of my meter. Because I don't care if he gets more life. I'm like way ahead in life anyway. Like there are all these like little life/meter consider. Maybe my character needs meter. Like maybe in order to win, like I need my super. Like I feel that way about Bane sometimes. Bane's super is this very fast grab that goes through a lot of things. Like I feel like I need that in some matchups, so I'm not going to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, just in general, if you're being comboed and you have less meter than your opponent, there's almost like no reason to ever use the wager system. You know?
What if my opponent knows that I'm Bane and don't want to use super? And want to keep super, I should say.
But would you really do that?
I would keep super. I did that this whole weekend. Like maybe in the end I'll realize that his super is not that important. But how it is right now, like that thing is super important to me. So
okay, fair enough.
Anyway, I think it's more interesting than just who has more meter.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting for me because my character Catwoman, like, I don't even feel like her meter burns are there. She only has 2 meter burns. Like, she can't meter burn off of her whips or anything like that. Most of her special moves, out of all the special moves that she only has 2 moves that can meter burn. Okay. Right? And so, I just don't feel like my meter's that important. Okay. So, for me, I'm just going to be wagering the crap out of everything. That's great for you, then. Yeah. But again, that's cool. It's different character
That is pretty cool.
So, that's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about interactables?
You know, I haven't seen them enough to really have an opinion. I mean, like, can you time the garbage can, for example, the big giant green trash bin, so that they get up into it, it's meaty, and there's nothing they can do about it, and they will get hit by it?
Well, if they have anything that's armored, they can always get out of that. But if not, yeah, you probably can. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what your character's knockdowns are like. And where
it's so funny.
People.
Like everyone's always just like, "Oh, James Chen's playing Catwoman. What a surprise!" The only reason why I played Catwoman is because the stream made me play Catwoman.
Yeah, but were you against it? Come on.
After they told me like you have to play Catwoman, I thought about it and I was like, I kind of do, don't I? So I had to go into it. So
look at this character right here. Look at this.
And Cammy has the alternate cat outfit, right? Her alternate looks exactly like Catwoman.
That's true.
So there you go. So
that's true.
I kind of had to do it. So.
Well, I love interactables.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. Even though I mean, some of them are maybe a little bit too good right now. Maybe we'll figure it out, and they won't be as good. But so there's this. So for example, on Aquaman's stage, there is on both walls. There's a thing that you can puncture that like shoots water out.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think that's fascinating because it means that you are not only okay with getting cornered, but in fact, there's a benefit to being cornered. Mm-hmm. Has that ever happened? In like, it's like I feel like maybe like Makoto in Third Strike is okay with being cornered because then she gets like combos out of grabs and stuff. But
ST Honda versus Cam. Okay,
fine. So there, and Guile and ST versus Honda. But it happens so rarely that you want to be in the corner. So I think it's a really interesting thing for positioning and space control. That just is a rarity. It makes parts on the screen important that are not otherwise important in most games, and it changes matchups too. Like if say there's this pig on this one stage. Have you seen the pig? There's a pig. So it's a dead pig on like a meat hook or something, and I think Joker's stage if I recall correctly.
Okay.
You can just move this pig back and forth. It doesn't fly away. It just like moves. It slides. And
so if you use the interactable button, you just slide it to another position.
Exactly. Yeah. It slides maybe like a fifth of maybe like a quarter of the overall stage length.
Okay.
Or maybe like a sixth. Anyway, like it. And so as some character like Bane who doesn't really have great get-in options, I feel like if I camp out at that range, I can be a threat to projectile zoners who want me to be at that range.
So when you slide the pig, it hits you as it slides.
It hits and it's unblockable.
Okay.
It hits and it's unblockable. Yeah.
Okay.
And some characters jump a little low; they can't really evade it that well. Some can, but
if you pass the pig to them, then they get the pig, and then they could throw it back at you.
Then they get the pig, but they're knocked down, and I'm going to get in on them now. You know what I mean? Like the pig knocks them down, I'm going to dash in. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. So it's something I have to worry about. But I like the fact that it lets my character do a little bit more. It changes the matchup a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it even makes some zoning matchups worse for characters that need to get in. But that's
the two characters to toss the old pigskin back and forth.
Yes,
right?
that's right. Yes, we should probably just call it football. That's cool. Yeah, but I think that's really cool.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I have yet to see how it works. I mean, to me, it's actually really interesting the fact that some of the characters use the background to jump. So, for example, on the Gotham City stage, there's that little air conditioning unit. Catwoman can use it just to jump all the way over there.
Right.
So, certain characters can use it as a means to get in. So, I think that it's going to affect a lot. The only thing that I'm worried about now is, how this is going to affect tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Is changing stages going to become a counter pick option? You know
So
what I mean?
what people have been talking about for tournament standard is game one, you just do random select. And the way that works is that when you enter character select, the game has already randomly selected a stage to be the background of the character select stage. Uh-huh. You'll notice there. And then the first player, when you get to the stage select, is always on that stage already.
Okay.
So just let the first player pick that stage. It's the one that's been randomly selected.
Okay.
And then after that, if you want to, as the losing player, you can go to the 50-50, which is where you both select the stage that you want, and the game automatically selects between one of those two. So you have the chance of going to the stage that's great for you, but you also have the chance of going to a stage that's not great for you.
What if you just made it so that you can either counterpick character or stage, kind of like Soul Calibur, kind of like Melee?
Yeah,
that's part of that system in there.
I think that's fine too. But I definitely want to make sure that we have the ability to pick stages as part of counterpicks. Yeah. I actually don't know what the MK community did, because I know that stages in MK are different lengths, and so different characters want different stages.
Gotcha.
You know, and I don't really know how they ended up deciding which one to pick, because I kind of dropped out of that scene after a while. I think it's cool. I really like that.
I mean, I just need to see how it goes. I've already seen a couple of people really complain about that.
Yeah, I know.
Like I saw L.I. Joe said that he didn't really like him too much. Maximilian said that he didn't like him very much. So I'm curious to see exactly how they're going to pan out. The cool thing about it is the stage awareness. Yeah, you have to be aware of stage. And there's that one stage where there's like a satellite flying in the background that people can jump up and grab and throw, right? And since it moves on its own, it kind of like sets up this weird... It's almost like the food in Samurai Showdown 2. You know, when the food drops on the floor, suddenly you want to move from where you're at and get there and stuff.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, I have no opinion on them right now.
Fair enough.
I can't actually say, because I haven't seen enough of it
That's
yet.
fair.
And the other thing is, I don't think people have gotten used to it enough.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, so when you're watching the game being played, I don't think people are taking advantage of it enough to really know how powerful they are. So. Yeah,
I mean, I fully expected a backlash against it. Same thing happened when PlayStation All-Stars came out. Same thing happened when Smash Brawl came out. When,
Gems, Cross Tekken.
Yeah, Gems too, even after they were made reasonable, people were still pretty upset about the situation. For some reason, but particularly when it comes to stage interactions, people view it as being random. They don't view it as being something interesting.
Well, you know why? It's unblockable. That's 100% of the reason why. Just like when Street Fighter 2 first came out, throws were cheap. Because you can't block it.
Okay.
As long as you can't block it, people hate it. They just feel really annoyed by it. I don't know what it is about that, so...
I'm sure that's part of it, but I think that people have been so consistently against stage interactions in general, even when they haven't been a hit necessarily. They've been like ways, places that your character can go, different ledges, for example, like all sorts of stuff has been there, but people have always been against it. And I don't know why people insist on looking at it as something that is bad for gameplay. It's a thing that makes you think differently about stage control and where an important part of the stage is. It's not just the corner with these, which is cool. For some reason, people don't like that. Why? It's just like it's so strange to me.
I really wish now that we were all playing Marvel superheroes, the original Marvel superheroes before X-Men versus Street Fighter, like competitively.
Really?
Because the stages in that game are so crazy. And in fact, there's one stage that has no corners, that it just scrolls forever.
Is that so?
It just wraps around itself.
That's pretty interesting.
It's Shumagorat stage, yeah. So, you could... I
didn't know that they tried that.
It would really be interesting to see how people played that game.
That would be really interesting, yeah.
And I always remember in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, there was one stage where the police van on the left, that during combos they could bounce off the police van, and, like, it really extended the combos for a lot of characters.
Really?
You could get way more stuff off of that, so, there was a lot of, like, little interesting... And, of course, in Children of the Atom, the floor could break in the middle of combos. So, like, when you hit them, like, if, like, for example, Colossus could throw you and then juggle you afterwards, but if he threw you and the floor broke, you would fall through instead, so you couldn't... So they did all these things back then.
I had no idea.
It'd be really interesting to see how people reacted back then to these kind of things that are going on. So a lot of these things have been going on for a long time.
I mean, that would be really interesting to know. I wonder if people back then would have been more open to it, not having had 20 years of just a stage that has corners and being upset about anything that's an alternative to that.
I mean, obviously, it won't work in some games. Like, Guile would be able to run away forever, and it would just be the worst thing ever. So
you just walk backwards constantly.
Yeah, but it just depends on the game. If the characters are powerful enough that they can deal with it.
Yeah.
For example, a game like MK9 totally could do it because everyone teleports everywhere, right? I'm gonna run away from you, Scorpions. There,
right?
It doesn't matter. So, but obviously, it depends on the game. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, in Injustice, I'm into it. I like it.
Yeah.
I want to stick with it, and I hope that none of the tournaments coming up will do anything about it. I'm actually kind of happy that one of the tournaments coming up is Keats's tournament, UFGT, because he is not going to do anything.
Oh, yeah,
He's going to let it all rock.
Well, I mean, there's no reason not to let it rock right now.
Yeah.
So there's no reason, because nothing's proven broken yet.
Yeah.
So nothing's proven broken. So, I mean, yeah, I'm excited for the game. Like you said, I have the same problems. Game is still ugly. I still hate the way every character moves. Like, their animations are just terrible. They make me mad because they all punch like humans. Like, your comic book characters, you need to be like...
that's true.
Like Wolverine when he does the end of the... Have you ever looked at the end of Berserker Barrage? His arms are just, like, ridiculous. You can't even move your arms into that position, right? They don't have enough of that. But that's an aesthetic thing, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think Cross Tekken is an ugly game, too, but it's my favorite one right now, so I can get over that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like this scumbag, like this. So.
Oh, that looks pretty weird on that stream. All right.
Well, let's take a quick break,
sure.
And we'll be back in just a little bit.
Look, the thing is that I think that it's the best anthem, is all.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's the coolest sounding anthem. I also think it's pretty cool that, like...
does it give you, like, real Soviet, like, inspiration?
I just think it's, like, the...
Real Soviet inspiration!
It's just the coolest sounding one, is all. Okay. I'm sorry, man. It's
so when
like, you can hear, like, the boots, like, stomping across... Like, it's so sick.
But, I mean, so when you watch the Olympics, do you root for Russia to win just so you can hear that?
They have the similar music, but different lyrics. And the lyrics aren't, like, singing about Lenin and awesome stuff. So.
Oh, okay. For Mother Russia! I still love that one video that Madge did a long time ago where he just did Zangief's throws, all of his throws from the beginning of time until the end. Yeah, and he does... Akuma Raging Demon, and then he 720s it with his Ultra. Nice. So he goes, prepare yourself for Mother Russia! And it's awesome.
That's very sick. That's very sick.
Anyway.
I also think it's cool that, like, 20 years later, I can totally have it as my ringtone, and I'm, like, this, like, little capitalist created piece of technology, like, I can co-opt I can co-op their anthem. Like, I bet that would have pissed them off so much. It would have been hilarious.
I had the worst watch when I was in
some
fourth
Jew
grade.
in the U.S. like on some capitalist created technology.
Yeah, I had the worst watch when I was in the fourth grade.
Yeah.
It was this little watch with this little digital thing of these people marching and the China flag back there, but it had a button that if you hit it, it would play the China national anthem really loudly.
Yeah.
And you couldn't stop it.
Oh, really?
So I would be sitting in class, and I would accidentally hit the button, and it would go off, and everyone would just stare at me, and I'm just like...
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what that anthem sounds like.
Yeah, I can't remember it now.
Now I'm going to look it up later.
It was a really terrible
I'm going to look that up later.
So
I spent the weekend in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
At Civil War 5. I went to school on the East Coast in D.C., Washington, D.C., and so I knew a lot of people in Maryland and Virginia, the whole scene there. Maryland/Virginia/DC is like
it's like
a scene. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I spent a lot of time there. I spent more time in NorCal going to college than I did going to school in DC. But yeah, I do think more of DC as being like secondary. So anyway, I went out there because I know the guy who ran it, Robin, really well, and I knew a lot of people there who I just wanted to go hang out with. I don't get to see some of them that often. They don't really travel except to this tournament. So that was really cool. But on top of that, they had an arcade in the back with like all sorts of old school games.
Yeah,
all the games you can think of.
Yeah,
that you
I think
when
I went out, did it take place in an arcade or no?
No. It's in a hotel.
Okay,
it's in a hotel.
Okay.
But one of the rooms, one of the ballrooms was converted into an arcade with all sorts of arcade machines.
Gotcha.
You know, CVS 2, Third Strike, Super Turbo, Darkstalkers, Alpha 2 and 3, a couple of Samurai Showdown, a couple more Dungeons. What am I thinking of? I don't remember. Anyway, but a lot of good stuff. And so that was really cool too. That's what I basically did when I wasn't commentating.
Nice.
But as far as the extra tournament went, it was good. You know, it's not like a major that attracts people from everywhere. More of like a regional thing. So it was mostly Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and then Philadelphia and New York.
Right.
And I think OMG it's Andre and Andre was there from the Midwest, but it was mostly, and you know, Cyclochronic was there from Toronto like always. But yeah, so the results were interesting. I know you wanted to specifically talk about Street Fighter 4 because it was first place Chris G.
Yeah.
Second place Dominion. Arturo Sanchez was third place, and Min was fourth place, which are both really cool. But then Darkchild is a Maryland player. Vivaldi is a Maryland player.
Knuckle Dew
from Florida. Madness, I think, is also Maryland. So Maryland, Virginia did pretty well. But yeah, New York ended up taking the top 4 spot. So.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing to me is a lot of people have talked about how Chris G might be the best player right now in the country, right? And I always get into these conversations about who the best multi-game player is, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's still Combo Fiend. Like, I still feel like Combo Fiend is probably the best multi-game player that there is, right? But the interesting thing about it is that Chris G kind of came into dominance with a lot of these other games, but he was never good at Street Fighter 4, like, for the beginning portions of it. He was not one of the top players. He was decent,
That's
right?
true.
But he never won that.
That's true.
And I always remember watching Big 2. He would always do a little, not too great, but then as time kept going, he kept getting better and better and better. And so, to me, the fact that he won this tournament, he wanted it really badly. I mean, he talked about it. He was just like, I really want to win this tournament. And the fact that he pulled it off, beating Dominion, who, for the longest time, I said was the best Street Fighter 4 player in the country, right? So, I feel like he's just kind of vaulted himself into just this complete upper echelon because he was playing catch-up against a lot of people in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
He was playing catch-up, and so he's dominating a lot of games now, but he could never quite take that Street Fighter 4, but now... And yes, I'm referring to America. So someone just asked.
Oh yeah,
of course. I'm just only referring to America. But I definitely think that Chris G is just, he is super impressive, and the amount of just dedication that he's putting into this and winning all these games, I think is just fantastic. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He did really well, and he won Street Fighter 4. I think he was top 8 in Cross Tekken, but only the top 4 was played on stream, so that's all that USD wrote down.
Oh, gotcha.
And then, obviously, he won Marvel vs. Capcom 3. In addition to that, though, he got 3rd place in Injustice. Yep. Let's see, he probably did well elsewhere. Yeah, he got 2nd place in King of Fighters.
Yeah, he keeps saying he keeps missing it.
Yeah. So, let's see, did he do well in anything else? I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I still say Combo Fiend is probably a better multi-game player is, so both of them don't play 3D games, right? But Combo Fiend has always been, like, back in the days for Guilty Gear, he was one of the most dominant Guilty Gear players that there was. And he never stuck with BlazBlue or Persona, but I know if he did, he'd be really strong in those games.
I know he played BlazBlue for a little bit. He had a bang that he was pretty good.
That's right, yeah. So,
but yeah, he didn't stick with it.
Yeah, so I still feel like Combo Fiend is very diverse, but Chris, I mean, he's doing better in King of Fighters. He's actually played Skullgirls a lot.
He got 4th place in Skullgirls.
So at this point in time, I may have to pass the torch to Chris G for the most overall well-rounded, talented player in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case. I don't think that... I think he's, like, clearly the most talented, the best overall in multi-2D games.
Yeah, do we have a single 2D player who's also really good at Tekken?
That hasn't really happened. It's happened a couple times, but not very often. It's more been that like a 3D player converts over to 2D and does well, but even that hasn't happened super often.
Yeah, again, I'm talking about US guys. I'm talking about US guys. Obviously, if we talk about the entire world, then Tokido comes into play. Yeah. Ryan Hart comes into play, for sure. Because he is one guy who's good at 2D and 3D games, right? So, I'm just talking about states right now. So, yeah.
But yeah, so he won with Sakura against... so it was Sakura, Guile, Dalsum Rose for Art.
And he came back from loser's bracket,
yes,
right? He had to win 6 of them, right?
Oh, wait. Is that what happened? I think Dominion reset it.
Yeah,
Dominion reset.
Okay.
Dominion reset 3-0, and you could see on Chris's face after that happened how much he cared about it. I mean, did you notice?
I didn't see it too much.
He was kind of crying.
Oh, after the reset. After the reset. Oh, okay.
After Dominion reset it. I mean, you could see how much it matters.
I watched the last set. I didn't watch the first set. So.
Okay. Which is, I know he's a really emotional guy. And he did that. That was, I thought, really cool, frankly.
Yeah.
Because you could see like how much he cares about it. And then he won after all. He won 3-2 in the final set. So yeah, good job to him. He had a great weekend. But he did have a great weekend at Civil War last time. He got top 8 in every game at Civil War last year.
He was Virgil, right? He was motivated. He just had swords all over him after he won. So.
Yep. So Sakura, Guile, Dalsum Rose, T-Hawk Honda, Balrog, Rufus, Guile, Adon. That was the top 8. I was really impressed by Art and Min this weekend.
Yeah.
So Art won.
Those guys,
Art won Cross Tekken and got 3rd place in Street Fighter 4. He ran into Sakura, which is just awful for Dalsum. Yeah. I mean, not to say that Chris might not have beaten him anyway, because Chris is really good, but that matchup is certainly horrible for Art. And Min got that far with Hawk and Honda. Man, that's so sick. He doesn't even play Bison anymore. I asked him about it. He doesn't play Faye anymore. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that Maryland did well, or doing well towards the bottom of the top 8 was good in Street Fighter 4.
So here's the really interesting thing. Glenn, GYT from Ultra Tournament, just tweeted this, and he missed a couple tournaments. Some people corrected him afterwards, but before he counted, I think it was WCG, the one that took place in Europe, I believe, right? Was it WCG or WGC?
World Game Cup?
I think so, yeah. But from the grand finals of like all the Road to Evo events, there was no repeat character.
Yeah, I saw that.
For Street Fighter 4.
I saw that. Do you know how many tournaments that means?
It was something like, it had to have been like 6 or 7 tournaments.
That's pretty impressive. So 12 to 14 characters.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
I asked him to look into how many characters got top 8 overall, and how many characters got top 3 overall. The top 8, I mean, I've counted it myself in the past, like stuff that I remember seeing, and it was like it was over 50% of the cast had gotten top 8 as far as I could recall from memory. But I'd like to see like an actual stat on that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like this just tells you right now if we're balancing this game, don't change much. Like, the amount that you need to change in this game is so small, and, you know, when I just tweeted recently, like, dude, what do we need to change, right? Obviously, what we need to change is just some of the weaker characters need to be buffed up a little, like Chun-Li, T-Hawk, DJ. Yeah. These aren't even, like, horrible characters, but they just generally struggle more than everybody else. So, yeah, let's buff them up a tiny bit. But, honestly, we don't need to do anything too crazy to the game. If we can just get rid of unblockables somehow...
Yeah.
And,
which effectively nerfs a few of the top tier characters anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm down with that. I don't expect that. You know, I definitely expect like weird changes and like too many and.
In every game that dude, when 2012 was first announced, when we all read the changes, we were just like, "Oh, this game's done. It's gonna be the worst game ever." Turned out to be really good. So
that's true.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, accidents happen sometimes for bad, sometimes for good, right? But yeah, I guess we'll see. But as far as what you want to see, I agree. I would like to see a minimum of things happen.
I'm actually working on, because I know I put up on our blog like what I would like to see change for Cammy, and I talked about the Ultras. The Ultra article really was just like a crazy fantasy like dream kind of thing. But I am going to post something up for every character, what I think they should be changed, and I'm literally limiting myself to like 1 or 2 suggestions for most of the characters. And in fact, looking through the list, like half the cast, I couldn't even say that there was anything to change. Like for Ryu, I was like, he's 100% fine. Adon, he's fine. You know, I couldn't even think of anything to change for a lot of those characters. Mm-hmm. So
I definitely agree. So also, Ultimate Marvel 3 happened. Chris G won with Morgan Virgil. Unknown got second place. Awesome. Second year in a row, actually, that he got second place at Civil War.
Okay, cool.
And second year in a row that Chris G got first place and Ray Ray got third place.
Really? It was the same thing?
Yeah, it was a slightly different way that it happened, because Chris G was from winners this time. Last year he was from losers. Unknown put him there. But yeah, so Unknown, though, he killed Morgan in most of the games that they played.
I like how everyone keeps saying that I want to make Cammy stronger when my whole article was basically nerfing her. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
So Unknown beat Morgan most of the time most of the games. He killed her. He spent X Factor to kill her, actually, in most of those games. And then he had chances against Virgil and Doom. Right. But he dropped significant stuff. Like, he got a grab with Viper and then got, like, Standell instead of Seismo. You know? Like, stuff like that, where it was just like he was facing the jitters.
He totally could have won.
He could have kept it closer. I mean, I think the more interesting point, maybe, is that Morgan wasn't as much the problem herself. It seemed like it was more Virgil Doom that was the problem, but it's not that simple, because in order to kill her, he did use X Factor. Right. So she was kind of Phoenix-like in that in order to get past her, you have to use your resources in a way that is not optimal for you.
Right, like the snapbacks from before.
Yeah, like spending meter weirdly on Phoenix, right, or keeping X Factor for her rather than before, stuff like that. So that came in, but after talking with Unknown after the tournament, and overhearing people like Ray Ray and Alucard and Flux and a couple other people talk about what happened, they all said, we're on the verge, man, of taking that team down. Morgan is becoming less of an issue. We're figuring out some of the patterns, and in fact, you could see it.
Cool.
You could see that people were finding that little hole underneath Solstice and S, and knowing when she could come in with the S up close. So, she had time to air dash over. Before the fireball would hit the ground, and knowing when she couldn't, so that you could find that little pocket, and not just going up on top of the screen and waiting things out, but like a little bit more movement. So things are a little bit better when it comes to that. But that's not the whole team,
right?
Exactly. That's one of the characters, and then Virgil Doom after that is really good too. So
I think people have to start making sure that they're confident enough in their team that if they touch Morgan, they do not have to burn X Factor to kill her.
Yeah,
she's 950 health. Which is about the same as Wolverine, I think.
It's pretty average.
Yeah, it's so, like, Ryu, I think, is 1 million, right? And most teams should be able to have, like, one of the first things that you should do is start in training mode, put your character to 1 bar, and touch the opponent in all sorts of various ways, and make sure you can kill them. Like, you have to know your combo calculated exactly out to kill people. In fact, I loved it when Flash Metroid was doing tests, and he would just be like, I hit this number. And then all of a sudden, I figured out how to get to this number. And, like, he kept adding little bits of damage. And you know, if your team can't kill a 950,000 health character right at the start, you might want to try to pick a different team to fight Morgan so that you don't have to burn X Factor to kill her.
The thing is, I mean, yeah, that's what some of the people were saying, that you need to kill her without X Factor. But some of the people were also saying that killing her with X Factor is okay because X Factor isn't super important against Virgil and Doom. It's nice, but like Virgil's either going to get hit by you or hit you that was their analysis. I don't know how accurate that is. But they were like, yeah, I don't feel like I need X Factor against that character. So, you know, I guess it's just, well, you know, people are still figuring out how they're going to deal with it and getting better at it in the process.
Yeah, I'm still also thinking about the whole snap Morgan out strategy. I really want to see someone do that. So in other words, if you touch Morgan and you know missiles are coming, or if you know Sulfus is coming from behind, snap her out. People haven't done that yet, and I think that's actually going to be a really powerful tactic against her.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see people use snaps more in general. Like when you find that little pocket and she's coming down with S, and you have a decent snap as a character, you
just snap
hit
her out of it. Yeah.
Okay, stuff like that. I mean, but anyway, it'll get better, and it is. So it was Chris G, then Unknown, then Ray Ray. I really like that Alucard got 4th. That was so sick. That guy is so good. His movement is amazing. He had consistent plink dashing that was like ridiculous.
Does he use the?
He has an extra H button. He doesn't have an extra. Yeah, the reason he does that is he has that weird. He uses that weird layout where it's like A, B, then C, then S. No, he doesn't use the top 3.
Right. Gotcha,
so he finds it difficult to do X Factor in that way. So he just adds the H on the like far button on the top, so he can still do the same.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
But he also uses that for dashing. But yeah, anyway, it was really sick. I was so happy to see him get that far. Rai got 5th, relatively local guy. Confucius from North Carolina had probably the first top 8 point Sentinel in 2 years.
Dang, nice.
A long time.
Was Moons in this tournament?
I had no Moonzingo.
Oh, okay.
Moonzingo. Then Hoshin, and then OMG, it's Andre. So.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. But again, you know, Rai, Virginia, Confucius, North Carolina, Hoshin, Maryland.
Go DJ Hoshin.
So
the person who actually can use Felicia well, like in a match. So
I mean, it hindered him, dude. Like,
you really felt like it.
I feel, yeah, like I was talking with him.
Don't tell me that. That makes me sad.
I was talking with him about the matchups, and he was like, "Yeah, I feel pretty confident against Morgan with her," and I was like, "Really? Yeah, like, it looks horrible to me." And he was like, and then when he played against Morgan, he did okay, but he had some issues. And then we talked about he played against Fublat, I think it was. Let's see. Let me make sure that I'm getting that right. But I think so. Yeah, he did. And I was like, man, I play that matchup a lot. Right? And I was like, I think that my characters win it. He was like, he kind of disagreed, but in part it was because of Taskmaster arrows.
Right.
You know? But I was like, yeah, I feel like I control the mid-range game. And he was like, eh. So, I mean, his thoughts on it are like a little not what I think about it. But, yeah. I mean, he's better than me. So,
yeah.
That's cool. But it was interesting to talk to him about it.
I'll tell you right now, man, like, oh, God. See, if they were... I know I hate talking about, you know, fantasies that never will happen, but I swear if they patch the game, you would have to do like 2 things to Felicia and she would be amazing. That would fix all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to say?
You're gonna, so.
Oh, I wasn't actually going to. Really? I wasn't going to. Like, I'm just saying she's that close to being a super good character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just make it so Fireball S was the H Sand Splash. So that she could run around.
Wait, which one is Fireball S? I don't know what her command is.
She doesn't have any Fireball with S. Okay. They gave her Sonic Boom. With
the
3 buttons to do the Sand
Splash.
Splash.
Charge,
So just change it to Fireball S so she can Sand Splash anytime, which would just be fantastic.
A little bit more zoning, I guess.
Yeah, and then if you do Air Delta Kick, she doesn't go up and then down. She just dies.
She just goes down.
Because then she'd be Wolverine status. Right?
Okay.
So
okay.
That's basically all I would do.
Well, I would only have one change.
Oh, yeah, and I would kill her wall clean.
Oh, no.
No. The way you do the wall clean, I would kill how you do it.
Okay, because it's important in some matchups.
Yeah. Well, Hoshin uses it.
He uses it against Morgan pretty well, for example.
He uses it immaculately.
Yeah.
But it has killed me more times than it's helped me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, with Haggard, all I would do was make Crouching H chain to S, and I feel like immediately he's a much better character. So.
Say that again?
You make Crouching H chain to S.
Without assist?
He just does it.
Oh, okay. Dude, that would make him so good.
Like one little change, right? Isn't that cool?
Dude,
anyway, so that's Marvel. In Cross Tekken, which was the highlight for the show for me, funny. Arturo won with Elisa and Dalsum. Second place was Knuckle Dew with Guile Zangief. Dominion with Raven Hwarong. And Rai Rai with Lars Sagat.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
I recommend seeing it because it was really good. Art got a little lucky. The matchups were not. He didn't face any horrible matchups. Let me say that. Okay. Sim has a bunch of them, but he just managed to kind of get by without having to deal with that. He was really happy about how that turned out. But in addition to that, he played really well.
Yeah.
And Knuckle Dew to get that far with Guile Geef. His Guile Geef is an interesting team. I mean, he doesn't use it just defensively.
That's really weird.
His Guile. He's a more offensive Guile.
It's like turtle and then get in, and then turtle and then get in.
But he doesn't play it like that.
Yeah,
he plays both of them like get in. So that was really cool. I was happy to see that the winners were not like Chun-Li Hwarong or like Chun-Li Law.
I mean, it's always interesting to me. Characters like Dalsum and Zangief, I always say this, are the characters that you have to be careful making too good, right? Because they're really irritating, right?
That's true.
But then, also, the interesting thing about those two characters is that they're kind of the design type that no matter what you do with them, someone can take them further than they feel like they should be tier-wise, right? So, for example, this is a perfect example. Arturo getting really far with Dalsum. Filipino champ always doing well with Dalsum, even in AE 2012, where he's really not a very good character. You know, this character always has the ability to be powerful based on how they're designed, you know. So it's dangerous to make them too good. So those kind of characters I'm always okay with if they're like mid-characters, you know, mid-tier characters. As long as they don't horribly suck like they do in so many games, you know.
I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then in Injustice, just to, I guess, quit talking about Civil War, but we should talk about this. Injustice was a super awesome tournament, too. You said you got to see a little bit of that?
I got the very ending, and Ario's rush down Batman was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It was really cool. The way he used his trait was awesome.
Dude, I don't know how Tom Brady won any rounds. Like, it was just crazy, but Aquaman's zoning is just, like, really...
Aquaman has good zoning. That is definitely true. I mean, he's not entirely... I feel like, if I recall correctly, his ground pound is minus 21.
Right.
So it's not like a safe move.
What's that anti-air?
Yeah, he has great anti-air. I mean, he can zone with ground pound. I mean, he gets out of combos, certain combos anyway. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. And then Chris G had Green Arrow, Black Adam, Raven, Batman, Killer Frost, and Catwoman.
Mad at me because
why?
It's actually Rio, not Ario.
Oh, did you say Ario?
I said Ario.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's Rio. Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, I grew up with this band, Ario Speedwagon, that existed. So every time I see Ario, that's all the first thing I think.
That's right. Yeah.
My bad, guys. Sorry.
But yeah, the top 8 was interesting in terms of character selection: Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Green Arrow, Black Adam, Raven, Batman, Killer Frost, Catwoman, Ares, Doomsday, Green Lantern, Nightwing, and Wonder Woman. So a pretty big percentage of the
Chris
cast.
G played everybody? Jeez.
He played Green Arrow, Black Adam, Raven, Batman, Killer Frost, and Catwoman.
So in the top 4... Oh, no, is Ares Ares is a villain, right? Yeah, Ares is a villain. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay, anyways.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool, too.
James,
you getting ripped
your age
up?
is showing. When has my age not shown, dude? Seriously.
Basically. So let's take a break, and we'll come back with like a last section, because I'd really like to talk about Skullgirls and Jafali.
Oh, yeah, of course. We'll be right back.
Alright, so in the Skullgirls character selection-a-thon, they are now down to the bottom 4. I said bottom 4. Okay, I didn't say top 4.
Yeah,
all right.
I agree.
Okay.
Dude.
Anyway, that's just my feeling about it. But now they're down to the final 4 characters, and those characters are Eon, Annie, Minette, and Eliza.
All right, everybody, go vote for Eliza, please.
Please do that. Please do that.
Please.
So let's. People don't know what these characters are. Let me just put this in the chat in case you have never seen the description of characters for some reason. So Eon is, let's see.
She's basically a boss character.
She's like, she has the ability to manipulate time itself, including alternate timelines.
Mike Z note. Just read that.
Special Mike Z note. Thanks to GGPO requiring the game. Though you A lot of this is more possible than you might think, though you may not enjoy fighting against a divine being very much.
Yes, she's supposed to be OP,
okay.
So it's just like, you know...
Alright, let's check out Annie. Control F, Annie. Playstyle speculation. Fiercer than she looks, braver than anyone, it's Annie of the Stars. Now where's my paycheck? Annie is a seasoned fighter who has been around for a long time, acquiring many skills and powers along the way. Her sword is a sword, and she has a right eye and something. Some of her abilities carry more of a sparkly magical girl motif. Oh! That's why she got voted.
Actually, what someone told me is that her gimmick is that she looks like this little girl, but she's gonna be like crazy rage sword person and stuff, but it's just like...
Alright, let's check out Minette. A cute, clumsy waitress, Minette is primarily concerned with making her customers happy. Throughout the match, she delivers food to passers-by who ride past on bikes, jump down from the sky, pop up from the sewer, or otherwise appear to harass the opponent for Minette's sake. She can collect her tips with the super, and the more she collects, the happier she gets. Maybe when she's happy enough, she'll even have the confidence to overcome her clumsiness. So she, I guess, powers up. So she has some gameplay gimmick. She has some, like, interesting...
Beowulf had a chair. He had a chair.
I am aware that he had a chair.
He had a chair.
There's a dude with a tank on his hand, for a hand, okay?
I know.
All right.
There was someone who controlled time.
There was a time...
And there was a shark. There was a shark. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Round 2, we can vote. There's another character we get to put in there, right? I'm going to get you to vote for Stanley Shark. Because I'm going to make it Project Win the Stanley Cup.
I like the idea. You got me almost on board, but I'm not going to vote for him. So. And then Elisa... is the reason that we want you to vote for... Well, I'm not going to tell you what to vote for, but the reason that I want her...
Vote for Elisa. Vote for
fine.
Eliza. Do it.
Whatever you want to do, guys. So, let's see. She can control her own blood. Each time she is hit, she bleeds, MK style. And the blood stays on the stage. Certain specials and supers can then use it. She'd probably have 2 modes. One where Sekhmet is inside Elisa's body with slow, powerful attacks, and another where Elisa anchors herself onto the Staff of Ra, and Sekhmet herself becomes a faster, more mobile character with new abilities. So not only does she have a stance, it sounds like, but she can also control her blood in a way that, like, it probably is interesting for space control and options and positioning. In fact, there's a explanation kind of video where Mike Z goes over how she might play, and it sounds pretty interesting.
I mean, the sample they showed, I was kind of less than thrilled with, because he just activated a super and they just all attack. But I mean, obviously,
but you can get the idea, right?
Like, can you imagine if, like, she could turn the blood on the floor into traps?
That's what I was thinking.
So if you beat her up in the corner, you're going to want to throw her out of the corner and take her the other direction and take away the blood power, right? It's like you're creating the stage interactable. And that's just, like, super fascinating to me.
I totally agree, man. I feel like... I mean, I was considering voting for her in the first place because I really think that mechanic sounds cool. So I'm cool with her getting this far. I think she could be really interesting. But the others are just... I couldn't care any less. I feel like these were, like, the... if I were to make a bottom 5 characters in that list to me, they'd be on that.
I felt like somebody's trolling us. Like, I want to go to Mike Z and be like, this isn't really how it went, right? You're just, like...
I'm not going to be too mad about it. I'm mostly feigning butthurt, but I am.
It's a reason why it's a vote. There's a reason why it's a vote.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I am disappointed, though, because I feel like some of the character designs in there were really interesting, and they didn't get a chance, but... or they had a chance, but not enough people like them. But they are going to have a whole nother voting process.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, some people are actually saying that, like, Annie might be good because... Like, Philia is supposed to be the basic character in the game, but she's kind of... As a point of entry, Annie might be a really good character if she is the soul, the Ragna of the game. You know what I mean? She could be a good entry...
Main character syndrome
the
stuff?
Yu Narukami of the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So if she's just really fierce and basic, then that might help other people get in. So
that happened. But yeah, again, they are going to have another vote after this, and it sounds like they're trying to decide how to do that, even. Yeah,
when you voted for this round, they actually gave you, they were like, how happy are you with these results? And they give you this little scale, and they're like, if we change the voting, would you like to see it different like this? And they had a different idea. That would make voting a lot harder, but I think it would produce more interesting results, because they were basically saying you would order all of the characters, all 30 of the characters. Cool. In the next round, be 20 characters. The next round will be 10 characters. But because you order them, then characters that people... Basically, if you're only voting for who you like, but if you really dislike a character, there was kind of no way to voice that opinion. But in this way, you kind of can't. So it'll be really interesting. So
yeah, okay. So
Stanley Cup. We're gonna win the Stanley Cup. Let's do it.
Your team won the last Stanley Cup that it'll ever have. So no more Stanley Cups for you or anything that you like.
No, we'll get it again.
Other interesting character news was Jafali released or announced for Dive Kick, I should say. Did you get a chance to look at that video?
So I found out about Jafali a little bit earlier. Someone basically told me about it. Was
wow,
Jafali.
secret info.
Jafali told me about it.
Oh my goodness.
And when he told me the idea for the character, I thought it was the most brilliant thing ever. Like, serious ups to Jafali for allowing that to be his character. That a man who every time he wins, his head grows bigger, so he just basically becomes the free headshot target.
I have to say, it's really cool of Alex to be down with that. Like, that's really cool, man. Like, I definitely give him some respect.
Right. I mean, he knows he has a big ego. He talks about it all the time.
Like he's such a nice guy. He does have an ego, but whenever you call him on it, he's like, yeah, you're right. Like he'll own up to it. Like I think it's really cool how he deals with that.
I think it was after the first CEO I went to. Like a bunch of us were hanging out afterwards, and but we all had different flight times, and so Noel was the first person who had to leave, right? So he's like, all right, I'm leaving, right? And I made the joke that it was like a horror film that we're all getting picked off one by one, right? And he's like, well, it's the black guy who always gets killed first, right? And I looked at him, I was like, you know who always gets taken out next? He's like, who? He's like, the guy who's full of himself. And he's like fair enough. So, it was actually, see, he's totally down with it.
He is cool. Yeah, he's a good guy, for sure.
Yeah.
So, the character design, if you haven't seen, is that this guy is really full of himself, and one of the gimmicks that he has is that when he gets hit, when he wins a round, when he hits you, his head gets bigger. And of course, in Dive Kick, if you have a bigger head, it's a huge penalty because that means you get headshot a lot more easily. So as he gets a bigger head, he gets worse. But not just that. He also jumps higher because the head is full of hot air.
Yeah.
So his movement options are actually a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little better. And he has this mechanic where he charges up a drop kick. And I don't know the exact relationship between where you can charge and when and how long you have to charge to get certain distance or whatever. But that the point is that the longer you charge it up, the farther he moves. So he has a really good sounding attack to me. I feel like that kick sounds really, really good. So it's probably better that he has like a bad head or something, because I like that mechanic.
Yeah, it's a really cool character. I mean, I'm worried that a lot, because I mean it's obviously a joke character. When you see the character select, they always have a difficulty rating. He actually put a difficulty rating in for every character.
Oh, really?
How hard it is to use
them.
Yeah? Right, yeah. So Kung Pao, for example, is hard and stuff like that. Jafali's difficulty rating is Dan. It just says Dan. He's meant to be a joke character, right?
That's awesome.
And so, I mean, while I love this character and everything like that, I'm afraid a lot of people are going to... Because a lot of people already consider this game, like, they don't take it seriously. Like, this has gone too far as a joke game, whatever.
That's true.
So they're going to see Jafali and just be like, okay, this just cements my preconceived notion that there's no strategy, that this is just a completely joke game, right?
That's true.
Obviously, the two of us love the game, right? I mean, dude, we get to do NCR Grand Finals for commentary.
We will be doing commentary at NorCal Regionals this coming weekend for Dive Kick.
Yes, for Grand Finals for Top 8. I'm like, it's so funny too because Seglia called me and was like, hey, what games do you want to do, whatever like that, and I was like. He was like naming all the games, and then he named Dive Kick, and I was like, "Ooh, Dive Kick!" And he's like, "Really? Nobody wants to do that game, right?" And I was like, "Oh, me and David are in. Sign us up!"
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Great, you guys are in." So now we're doing it. So
it's the same thing. I'm also going to be doing Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I feel like the same thing probably happened there. I'm super happy to commentate both those two games. In fact, that's probably like number one, top 3 games that I would want to commentate.
Right.
And I think like nobody else wants to.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the thing is, yes, the game is a joke. Like the whole thing is the Bel Air plot and all this stuff. The kicks do 1 million damage, whatever like that. The game is supposed to be very humorous, but underneath all this humorous outside, there's a strangely very compelling gameplay. It's actually really strong. And I tweeted once. I was like, this is not a troll. This game is way deeper than you think, and everyone's like, troll.
All I can tell you is that
I can't convince anybody.
All the people I know who initially thought that the game looked dumb, that it wasn't strategic, and then played it, they all liked it.
Dude, I mean, all these people at PAX East gave it like game of the convention. And these are people that have nothing to do with fighting games, right? These are not people who are in on some elaborate troll or joke, right?
Yeah.
Cliffy B, the guy who created Gears of War, basically said it is like super fun, it was super elegant, and he kept going back to the booth.
Yeah.
Like he played it and said like this may be one of the best games I ever played, and he came back later on to play it again. So, I mean, I don't know how else to explain to people.
Well, people will try it out eventually.
Yeah.
And they should. If you have a chance to go to an event that has dive kick, and certainly once the game comes out, you should definitely give it a go. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
Obviously, NCR coming up this weekend. This is one of the Road to Evo events.
Yes.
Huge event. In fact, they just announced Momochi is confirmed there now. So E.G. Momochi is showing up.
Yeah.
Daigo will not be there, unfortunately. He's not going to make it. He's playing in another event in Japan. But Momochi is going to be there, so we're going to have him there. Lots of players. And like I said, it is a Road to Evo event, so it's going to be really big. And, I'm super excited about it. I'm always jazzed about NCR.
It's going to be really cool for me because I keep talking about how I like Cross Tekken right now. NorCal might be the strongest area for it, or certainly one of the top 2 to 3 areas for Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
You think so?
Yeah. They have really, really good players.
NorCal?
Yeah. Wait until you see. They have really good people. They have players who have been going to tournaments for a long time who are really good. People who are more of the online side, but have started going to tournaments who are really good. Okay. They just have a lot of talent there, so that's going to be really cool to see. Right. Marvel is going to be really good. It's not just NorCal, but SoCal is going to be there as well. In addition to that, the East Coast is going because it is an Evo qualifier kind of thing. So there's going to be all sorts of talent. Street Fighter, I'm sure, will be awesome too.
Yeah, but you and
Injustice is not going to be there.
Yeah, I know you and I always enjoy NCR because it's like one of the only tournaments that we can go to where we can just kind of chill a little bit.
That is so true, man. So we are doing commentary a little bit, but it's mostly going to be the NorCal guys because they have good commentators up there. Yeah. And we're certainly not going to.
And we're getting commentators from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of great commentators. I think Seth is going to be there to do commentary as a guest as well.
Yep, Combo Fiend will be there.
Exactly.
Magus and Derry will be commentating too. Yeah. A couple other people. So it'll be a pretty good round of
I think
characters.
Even Spooky might be doing commentary.
Spooky, I think, is going to be doing commentary, yeah.
Spooky's commentary is fantastic. So
yeah.
I will probably get a chance to do commentary. So it's going to be really, really cool. So
yeah.
And then the two of us, like last year, we barely did commentary. In fact, we got dragged onto the Street Fighter Cross Tekken second stream when we weren't even supposed to be doing any commentary.
And I think I was eating a sandwich and I was already a little tipsy. Right?
You were trolling the game. This was before you did not.
This was when I hated it.
Yeah, this was before you liked the game.
So I liked it at first, and then I hated it for like quite a while. And then I liked it, and then hated it, and then liked it.
Yeah.
But this was during one of those periods of hate.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be fun for us. I mean, I've entered a bunch of games. I'm going to get bodied in every single one of them. But whatever. Yeah. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. So.
All right. Well, that'll be this coming weekend, and it'll be streamed on twitch.tv/iplaywinner.
Yeah, as well as twitch.tv/TeamSpooky. They're both streaming this weekend. So Spooky is doing the secondary stream. Actually, no. I looked at the stream schedule. Technically, Spooky's doing the main stream. Like it looked like more of the side stuff was on the was on the iPlayWinner stream. But the stream schedule's up. You can check it out at iPlayWinner.com. So you'll have they're running two streams at the same time. Good stuff on both streams. A lot of games are gonna miss some stream time, unfortunately. But there's really nothing we can do about it. So.
That'll happen. We have a lot of games nowadays. Yeah. Like I said, Injustice won't be there. It wasn't. NCR has been planned for a long time and hadn't. They didn't have a date for Injustice at the time that it was planned, so they didn't get a chance to put it in there, so that won't be there. But basically, every other game will be there.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, what game I'm actually really hyped about for NCR is Melee.
Melee.
Melee is going to be there. Smash Brothers Melee is going to be there, and I'm really sad that we still haven't done a show for Melee yet.
We should get on that.
I really want to do it because the thing about it is. If you've played Melee before and then you watch the high level play, it's easily one of the most fantastic things I've ever seen. Yeah. And I still even remember the first Evo East that we did that had Melee there. all the Capcom fighters who were sitting there watching it, they were just sitting there like, oh, here comes that stupid Melee game, right? And when it started, people were going nuts. They were going ape shit over this game. They were all calling it Marvel Junior. Yeah. That was a nickname it was getting at Evo East.
It has Marvel footsies.
Yeah, they were calling it Marvel Junior. So I wish we could have did a little bit more to prepare people for this weekend to understand the game.
It's just been a really busy time.
And we've promised to do an Injustice thing, too, like we did for all the other games. But the problem is we don't know the game well enough to talk about it.
Yeah, probably not even by next week will I know it well enough.
Yeah, so we either got to try to find someone or...
Yeah, I was thinking about calling up, like, Crazy Bone or something, somebody who knows the game well. So yeah, I mean, we'll definitely get somebody and take care of that. But yeah, it's just been a really busy time. This will be my third consecutive tournament weekend. So.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
It's been fun.
More power to you.
It's been fun.
More power to you.
But yeah, it's a Melee, a really good game. Definitely enjoyed it when I saw it at Apex. Looking forward to it.
I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited.
All right, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure that at 10 o'clock you head over to twitch.tv/iplaywinner for the show that sucks.
Yeah.
They have some good stuff over there and good talking.
Yeah.
I don't know what the topic is today, but it's always cool.
I've been talking a lot about like hit stun deterioration. I actually want to try some stuff after we're done with the stream today. So, but in any case,
okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot. Again, check out NorCal Regionals this coming weekend. We'll see you next week.